Boy, it's like every month we've got another climate disaster in America. Right now we've got a volcano, going crazy in Hawaii, but the floods and the tornadoes and the downpours we've had. Folks, if you're living in a home that got wet, or if you put new carpet or drapes in a home and it kind of smells bad, you may be inhaling some very, very toxic things. Today, the president of the company HealthQuest Technologies, Chris Chase, is going to join me and talk a little bit about this technology. Looks tiny, huh? Plug it in your bedroom, quiet, no fans, no dishwasher having to clean filters, etc. We're going to talk about that. Our favorite pharmacist, Susie Cohen, is here to talk about a supplement maybe we should all take. I'm going to ask the question, what do I think causes arthritis? All that and more on this Know the Cause. Glad you're here. Today's Know the Cause is brought to you by Pioneer, better air for your home. My name is Doug Kaufman. For the past 40 years, I've dedicated my life and even my career to finding the root cause of disease. Join me in a team of physicians, pharmacists, and scientists, and soon you too will know the cause. You know, 20 years ago or so, I met a guy named Chris Chase, and Chris's past 20 years have been eventful from the time I met him. He decided that mold was a problem inside people's homes. Problem is how to get rid of it and how to have the inhabitants of the home not become sick from breathing all that mold. His story is a good one. I'll let him tell it. But today we want to talk about a technology that is revolutionary today as it was 20 years ago. It still makes sense. It's called photocatalysis. Don't worry about that. This just means you don't have a big fan making noise. Chris and I remember when air cleaners were coffee tables, that people in your home would smoke cigarettes and it'd suck the cigarette smoke right into the table. Not like that anymore. This is a 21st century technology. We clean our water, we clean our food. Why aren't we cleaning our air? Let me introduce you to Chris Chase right now. We look a bit older, maybe, than we did 20 years ago, but life is good. I have 3 of these in my home. Bought them a decade ago.
I got you beat. I got 6.
Well, you get a better deal than I do. And this, folks, is the technology, and it really relies on a device that fits into the technology that every year you pull out and replace to work. It's dynamic. And you found out the hard way, right? You had to pay for it.
It really did, and you know I am a businessman, and part of being a businessman is when somebody's asking you to invest in a new venture and that sort of thing, is to try to do your due diligence and check it out and that sort of thing. And I did. And we did a couple of different tests that were designed to prove that the technology worked around things that we knew about. The developer, for instance, was in the mold remediation business, so we wanted to test for mold.
Did you think
reduction.
mold was a problem 20 years
ago?
No.
But you know, we found out that it was very effective. We had a Dr. D. Graham do a series of tests, not in his laboratory, but in a real life environment, people's homes where they had kids and pets and that sort of thing running around. And what we wanted to do was test and measure the airborne mold levels and whether we could reduce them or not. And we were over 90% reduction of mold in the homes where we were using this technology. So I thought that if it would reduce mold, that it probably would reduce bacteria. The people that developed the technology had tested it on virus, and it was effective at treating virus. So the next place that we went, so we wanted to see about chemicals. We did a test in a funeral home where we measured the formaldehyde levels and were able to bring those down in the embalming rooms, which is a pretty tall task. Part of the reason why we tested formaldehyde is when you go into your home, again, into your living environment, almost everything in there, your drapes, your carpet, the veneer in your wood, is made with some form of formaldehyde. And the really bad thing about formaldehyde is it leaches out of laminates like this over several years. So you know when you buy a new car, you like that new car smell.
Yeah.
That's formaldehyde,
Ugh.
and over time, formaldehyde will embalm you from the inside out. So being able to do something about that leads to a healthier lifestyle for everybody. When I first got into the business, I didn't know anything about air pollution. Uh, I was asked to write a check, and I've been in the business now, considering the time before we actually formed the company, and since we formed the company, a little over 20 years. And I have learned that what you're inhaling causes a lot more problems than just respiratory type issues.
That's where I wanted to go with today's show. Folks, how many of you are symptomatic? Oh, I know that's Lyme's disease, or it's fibromyalgia, or it's tummy problems, or it's skin problems. How many of you know worse? How many of your doctors know that breathing in mold or bacteria can induce all of these symptoms? We're going to learn about that today with Chris Chase. We'll be right back. And welcome back, friends. Now, what does OSHA say about all of this, about all these indoor air pollutants and so forth? Look at this. I find this fascinating. Indoor or inside air can affect a person's health. Duh. 3 of the most common causes of indoor air quality problems. Okay, not enough ventilation in your home or your office. Lack of fresh outdoor air coming into the house or the building, okay? Next was poor upkeep of ventilation, HVOC, your heating and air conditioning units, and dampness and moisture damage due to leaks or flooding or high humidity. Chris, there are so many people that believe when your home has a leaky roof, just putting a new roof on is okay. If that water has gotten into the house, you got to think seriously about remediating the house, which can be $100 grand, or putting some units in to clean the air.
Well, we sort of think about our technology as a triage effect. While you're living in that home and trying to get it remediated, you're still breathing some pretty bad air.
Yeah.
And so if you introduce our product to that environment, we're going to bring down the level of mold exposure that you're exposing yourself to.
And how does this, I see these bulbs, folks, this is an old unit. And this is the old cannula, the insert, the bulb that goes into this unit that every year you replace. By the way, this is probably a 10-year-old unit. This is the new technology with the new bulb. Now, can you see the difference? Look at how that's been on for a year, maybe a year and a half. This is a brand new shiny bulb. That bulb's important.
That's the heart of the technology, really, because what it does is it triggers a photocatalytic reaction that we're looking to create to make
negative ions.
Right, and so without that lamp functioning the way that it should, you're getting less performance out of your machine. So for those of you who have this product, we ask you to change the lamp once a year, not because the lamp has burned out, but because of just this effect that you're talking about here, where the outside of the lamp is smoked to the point that not enough light can get to the target area to create the technology that we want to clean up your home. And while you're sitting here looking at this show, I mean, I'd like think a little bit, because it's taken me a while to understand this. So I want to try to help you work through this. Do you have joint problems? Do you have a history of cardiac problems? Do you have respiratory or sinus problems? Do you have headaches? Do you have allergies? All of these things are caused by some type of pollutant that you're inhaling, and what happens is it comes into your lungs. Your lungs have a lot of blood vessels in it. Your heart pumps blood into your lungs. Well, it picks up oxygen. That's the reason that it does that. But if there's pollutant in the air that you're breathing, it picks up those little fine particles of pollutant, and it circulates it to every part of your body. So the problem with indoor air pollution is not just respiratory. And when you're sitting here watching this, do you have a problem other than respiratory problem that you're needing to treat? And if you do, I recommend that you consider this technology. And I understand why you might be a little skeptical, so we will give you 30 days to try it. And if you're not happy with it, return it and you get all your money back.
Now that's, okay, why would you not? Can I go back 10 years and try my 3 units free? I think that's, folks, Chris is right. Symptoms that your doctor really doesn't understand, but you're on medication, really can be due. I'm a guy who's published in this area. Really can be due to particulate in your home, and that's animal dander, that's bacteria. Did you think 20 years ago that mold was a problem in people's homes?
I didn't. I had the guy that brought me the technology. He had an idea that it did, but I didn't. I mean, I was a total neophyte in this business, and 20 years has taught me a lot, and science has taught me a lot about what is going on in your body when you're inhaling polluted air. And if you think that your house does not have air pollution in it, you better rethink where you are on that one.
Yeah, okay. Chris Chase, great to see you again. Pioneer is the technology. I'll put up the phone number again at the end of the show. You can write it down, call them, and try it for a month. That's the deal. Thank you, Chris. Now, our favorite pharmacist, this is Susie Cohen, is going to discuss a supplement, turmeric, curcumin. You've heard of it. Should we all be taking it? And by the by, what would Doug Kaufman do if I heard those words, "you have arthritis"? What causes it? Watch this.
As a pharmacist for 24 years, I'm familiar with medications that treat fungus, and they're not only expensive, but they have a lot of side effects, especially harmful to your precious liver. A Brazilian study found out that the natural spice extract curcumin kills 23 different strains of fungus, including Candida albicans. 23 strains. You can buy supplements of curcumin at any health food store nationwide.
And welcome back, friends. Oh man, look at me. When I look at me on camera, there was a time when the shirt was white and the hair was black. I mean, it happens so quickly, right? Don't blink. It's amazing to look at me as an old guy. I still feel so good. Thank you for joining me right now. When I moved to Texas in 1987, the kids were small. Ruth and I just packed up and moved out this way from Los Angeles. I visited some of Dr. Weekly's patients in the early weeks there. Some of them told me they had arthritis. I thought, okay. The movie Arthur came out as popular, but what in the world is arthritis? I finally figured out from Dr. Weekly they mean arthritis, but so many people call arthritis, okay? So let's define it and let's talk about it. Those of you who got out of bed this morning and, oh, it hurts so bad you can hardly walk down the hall into the bathroom. Folks, my producer and I laugh about this a lot. We both kind of move down the hall slowly, but it's because we worked out so hard at the gym the day before that we're a little bit stiff. It isn't old Arthur taking over us, okay? So here we go. What is Arthur? Arthritis. Arthro is Greek, or ARTH is Greek for joint, and itis means swelling, inflammation. Inflammation may occur in one or more joints, as most of you guys know, especially as we age. Like cancer and heart disease, experts tell us that there's over 100 different types of Arthur. There's Arthur Smith, Arthur Jones. Drugs are prescribed to ease the inflammation. And is there no shortage of drugs on the market? Anti-inflammatories. Did you know NSAIDs, these are natural anti-inflammatories. They increase the gap in the epithelial cells in the gut, so gut leakage can start. No doctor understands that, so he's not going to counsel his patient. But very often, when you take a lot of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, you get food allergy. The next thing is food allergy. Why? The milk, the eggs, the wheat, the cereal are beginning to leak through, okay? Talk to your doctor about that. It's very well documented. Arthritis and fungus. Here's what I think, folks. Here's what I think the key to understanding arthritis is. Many fungi or many molds produce poisonous byproducts called that means fungus, toxins, fungal poisons. These molds are in our air, our food, even in some medications. For example, penicillin is a mycotoxin. Thousands of these have been identified, and most of them actually suppress your immune system. Mycotoxins are well documented as causing inflammation. For example, what makes bread rise? If you get a little wheat in your hand, you just blow it away. Unless you mix it with water, and if you set it on the counter, it becomes a hard ball. Unless you put it in the oven, put a little cake of yeast in it, and then at 350 degrees, slowly. Folks, we aren't 350 degrees. We don't happen in 45 minutes. We're 98.6. So it takes yeast affecting our joints years and years and years before we start hurting, slowly rising all the time. What doctors are calling inflammation, you and I know is what? Good, swelling. Same thing, okay? Mycotoxins are well documented as causing swelling, okay? Now, Doug, what would you do if you had old Arthur living with you, okay? If I had arthritis, I'm sorry, I'm gonna start calling it that. If I had arthritis, I'd make an appointment with my doctor and I'd say, Doc, I wanna try something. Kaufman told me about this. There's a drug called nystatin. It was invented in Albany, New York in the 1940s by 2 women doctors. Therefore, New York State in nystatin. I want that drug. There are no side effects to it. You can tell them. And on my website, there is a link right at the top of the website. Click it off. It says doctors and antifungals, how to prescribe them. Print it, 2 pages, take it to your doctor. Then follow my diet. It's on the same website. It's free. All of this is free. Follow the Kaufman 1 diet. Get a far infrared sauna or go to a gym where there's one 3 to 4 evenings a week. Slowly begin to detoxify inside your body. And then move either your body or your residence if your home is growing mold in it. Okay, how do I know if that is true? Go to Home Depot or Lowe's. You know, for 15, 16 bucks, you can buy a mold test plate. Put it in your bedroom or in the bathroom and see if 3 or 4 days there isn't gray fuzz or ugly fuzz, green fuzz growing on that. Folks, that's an indication you're living in a moldy environment. You may be inhaling it, and that stuff goes right to your joints when you do that, okay? So when you think of good old arthritis, think fungus, okay? That's the way to think. Nice talking with you. Okay, if we can't go to Australia, we'll bring Australia to us. Dr. Greg Emerson from Brisbane, Australia joins us, talking about cholesterol and heart disease. Afterwards, it's getting hot out. It's nice outside, warm outside. Mayonnaise, a lot of us are wanting to put it in salad dressings and so forth. How do you make it Kaufman friendly? Watch.
The problem with the ridiculous focus on cholesterol and heart disease is it has taken our eyes off the actual causes of heart disease. Heart attacks in people who do not have high cholesterol or diabetes or high blood pressure are passed off as mysteries. And then we just have to walk around hoping we don't get struck down as well. And if we do, then we better get a stent because we don't have any risk factors and can't save ourselves. The truth is that cardiovascular disease is caused by inflammation. And without even thinking, I can list off multiple scientifically proven risk factors other than those listed above. Right, here we go. I'll do it in 10 seconds. Elevated lipoprotein A levels, elevated homocysteine levels, elevated CRP levels, infected root canals, periodontal disease, elevated body burden of lead, elevated body burden of mercury, chronic bacterial and fungal infections, high insulin levels, leptin resistance, high blood sugar, elevated oxidized LDL, low HDL, low omega-3-6 ratio, low vitamin D levels, low levels of nitric oxide, mitochondrial disease, high iron levels, stress causing sympathetic overdrive and lactic acid buildup in the heart muscle. Right, my time's up. Cardiovascular disease takes the life of an Australian every 12 minutes. This can be stopped. It's not a mystery. Find the cause, fix it, be proactive. It's our responsibility. This is Dr. Greg Emerson with Doug Kaufman in the Know the Cause studios in Dallas, Texas.
In the Kaufman diet, we sometimes make our own condiments. This recipe is going to be how we make the Kaufman Phase 1 mayonnaise. You should have an immersion blender and a tall jar. A blender or food processor will also work. Here are the ingredients that you will need to make the Kaufman Phase 1 mayonnaise. 2 organic egg yolks, 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon dry mustard, 1 or 2 pinches of sea salt, and 1 cup of oil. Make that safflower, olive, or avocado oil. Now here are the directions to make the Kaufman Phase 1 mayonnaise. Put the organic egg yolks, fresh lemon juice, mustard, and salt into the jar. Pour in a couple of tablespoons of the oil and start to blend it. As the mixture thickens, pour in a couple of more tablespoons of the oil and blend again. Take your time, there's no hurry. Keep alternating, pouring and mixing until all the oil has been poured in and the mixture has thickened. It may take a while, but just be patient. Now, after it thickens, place the lid on the jar and leave in the refrigerator for up to a week. After that time, it should be ready to use. Just a note of caution here. This recipe contains raw egg yolks. We recommend that pregnant women, young children, and the elderly and the infirm do not consume raw eggs. You can go online and check that for more information. I mean, if OSHA says, we got problems with indoor air, right? Then we have problems with indoor air. It's amazing, this little portable unit. By the way, when you go to a hotel, unplug it, plug it in the hotel. You can travel with it. This little unit can clean a home, a 1,500 square foot home, or a 700 square foot room, or a 300 square foot bathroom and bedroom, something like that. There are 3 different. Call the telephone number you see on the TV right now and talk to Chris's folks over there and just say, look, which do I need? And by the by, can I buy one, use it for a month, and if I don't like it, can I get my money back? Ask that. Thank you so much, Susie, for coming in today. Thank you so much, Greg Emerson. Absolutely love both Susie and Greg. Their contributions to Know the Cause are numerous, and we deeply, deeply appreciate them. Folks, I do a live Facebook show each Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon Central Time. Join me, type away your questions. I'll try and get to all of them. We are growing our presence. Fungus is a big deal, not only with arthritis, but with many health conditions. God bless you. Bye-bye.